I've decided to run them a few laps around the racetrack here, get a little heat into it. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for today's race. Hensley, who won the Busch Grand National pole here in 1991, has the fastest qualifying spot. Jack Sprague, who's already been victory lane this year, is alongside. In row 2, Ron Hornaday Jr. in a Chevrolet and Mike Bliss in a Ford. They've both seen victory lane. Johnny Benson returns to the Truck Series. He shares the 3rd row with Butch Miller's Ford. Rusty Wallace makes his Craftsman truck debut in a Ford. Brian Reffner, the series leading rookie, is on the 4th row with Rusty. Ken Schrader, one of the Winston Cup drivers in the field, his Chevy, along with Dave Rezendes, who won at Homestead, in a Ford. That's row 5. Row 6, Rezendes' teammate Jeff Bodine in a Ford, and Mike Skinner, the leading winner on the series and the point leader and defending champion. Rick Corelli, who finally picked up that first victory in Bristol, Tennessee, and Joe Ruttman in a Ford. That's row 7. Row 8, Bill Sedgwick Chevy and Jeff Burton's Ford. Row 9, John Nemechek Chevy and Lance Norick in a Dodge. Rich Bickle and Bob Keselowski, both Dodge mounted, in row 10. Scott Lagasse and Michael Dockett in Chevrolets. Charlie Cragen and David Smith in Chevys. Mike Colabucci from Maryland and Bobby Gill in Chevrolets. Doug George in a Ford and Harry Gant Chevrolet. Walker Evans in the Dodge and T.J. Clark in a Chevy. Then Bob Brevek and Kenny Allen, Mike Hurlbert and Joe Gaeta, and Perry Tripp rounds out the field. All 35 trucks that came to Nazareth will start the race. They will run in the usual format of a break at halftime for adjustments and tires, and also breaks for fuel in each of those halves. So we'll run sort of in 4 quarters for this first ever truck event at Nazareth. Today, temperature never hit 70 degrees. The humidity has hovered around 90% all day with only a light breeze and a lot of showers. And even at this point, a light mist coming down on the racetrack. Windshield wipers might be appropriate, buddy.
Yeah, I was just looking at Michael Doken and Perry Tripp. Both have had problems even before the race starts. They're down on pit road right now with the hoods up on both trucks.
There is Tripp, who came out of the ARCA series, hit the wall in practice yesterday, really ripped up the side of the truck, got that repaired. The young Florida driver, Michael Dokken, with the hood up as well on his number 64. So the Jet Dryer and the Super Trucks share the racetrack. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Nazareth, Pennsylvania, where after several laps to dry the racetrack, NASCAR has decided to put the green flag out in 1 lap, buddy, with a single file start.
Mike, they have to do that. You can see there's a good lane in the middle part of the racetrack. Up near the wall there, you have a moisture problem with the racetrack right at the moment. When they get on really under the green, the heat off the tires will dry the surface in a hurry.
Perry Tripp has already taken his truck to the garage out of the race with ignition trouble. They may start under a green-yellow condition. That means that the laps would be counting from this point, but we would be under a yellow flag condition to make sure that all the witnesses out of the track and the surface is safe to go racing. The drivers, the teams, the fans, everybody has been real patient here. Let's see what they do as the pace car comes around and the yellow flag is hung out. We are underway here at Nazareth, Pennsylvania, but we are under a green-yellow condition. Pace car stays on the speedway to lead the field around. Let's check with Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Mike, a couple of the guys have already had trouble here under the pace laps, as you said. Michael Dokken pitted. He had a valve cover gasket that was leaking. He also came back in, lost his hearing. His earphones weren't working, so they replaced those under caution. Also, Perry Tripp, as you said, had ignition problems. They don't expect to get his truck back out there. Mike Hurlbert, who towed all the way here in a pickup truck, towing his pickup truck, had a slight engine problem. They put him behind the wall and got him back out there. He's on the tail end of the field. Other than that, he's ready to go.
So 34 trucks have taken the green-yellow flag here as we continue under caution. And the drivers work back and forth to make sure there's enough heat in the racing surface on this very unique track that we'll be able to go racing. We had hoped to have in-truck pictures for you today, but you can see the fog here at the racetrack. The low cloud cover and very low ceiling prevents the helicopter from getting back to our control truck. So no onboard footage as they work out of turn 1 down underneath the bridge toward turn number 2. Buddy, 5 corners here as we call it. That's turn 2 into turn number 3 and then way downhill to the back straightaway.
You know, the one thing I rode around here the other day and just looked at the racetrack, there's places here that are absolutely black. As you start into the corner, you turn in and you cannot see what is right over the top of the hill here. They did a beautiful job of laying this racetrack out, but it's uphill, downhill. There's a lot of blind spots in the inner corners here.
Out of turn 5 and back to the start and finish line. Through turn 1, trucks are now. Every driver has a different idea about how many corners are here. Is it 6? Is it 4? Is it 5? Is it 3? This area, the course they're on right now, going down this turn, we call it turn number 2. The first corner, some people call the dog leg. Like Daytona has the tri-oval. And that little kink in the back straightaway in Phoenix. But I asked Ernie Irvin, who's here with the truck that he co-owns with the Simos for Brian Refner, and he says, well, that turn 1, he says, you get on the brake and you turn. He goes, to me, that's a corner.
Absolutely.
I'll take it.
Turn and hit the brake, that's a corner.
So we'll call it 5. This is turn 4, and here, this long sweeping turn number 5 that leads on to the start and finish straightaway. Looking for an indication when they might go green. 3 laps under the green yellow. 200 laps, 200 miles is the distance today. First ever test for the trucks on the Nazareth mine. A long day of waiting here at Nazareth, but now finally they can. Let's go.
These guys are ready to go. But you know it's frustrating. You sit in these race trucks, ready for the start, and you're out there under a green yellow condition. Really, you can still see a little bit moisture on the cameras as we go around the racetrack. It's just enough to aggravate you.
I would imagine, though, that what's that line? A bad day of fishing is better than a good day of work, but a long day at the racetrack better than being home.
Well, these guys, you know, they're racing for a lot of money here today. And, Jimmy Hensley up here on the front row, first time ever. You notice a lot of tape on the front of the truck because of this cool day. They're looking for a lot of downforce so they can make these flat corners with a lot of acceleration. So they're ready to go. All we need is a little cooperation with the weather right now, and they're ready to go.
Point standings in the Craftsman Truck Series are extremely close after 8 events completed. Mike Skinner, of course, has 3 wins. 5 other drivers have made the victory lane. Skinner has only a very thin margin over Ron Hornaday, 1293 to 1284. 9 points separate the point standing leader, Jack Sprague, at 1259, very close. Another tight pack, Dave Resendiz with a little breathing room over Joe Ruttman in 5th. Butch Miller only 2 points ahead of Brian Refner, Rick Corelli, Bill Sedgwick, and Mike Bliss, the top 10 in the point standings. And out of those 10 drivers, 7 of them have led races this year. Let's go down to the point standing leaders pit. Here's Glenn.
Mike standing along beside of Rich Burgess, the crew chief. Rich, you had a chance to talk to Mike on the radio, and he's normally one of the most aggressive guys out here. What's he saying about the track condition?
The track's not too bad right now, but it still needs to dry out some more. And, right now, when they go green, we'll just try to take it easy until the track gets to good racing condition, and then he'll go for it.
Well, pretty much the same story all the way down. The guys are radioing in that, well, we could go racing if we had to. Wait and see what NASCAR says, but most of them ready to go.
Glenn, is it still misting down there? It looks like there's such a heavy fog over that back straightaway. Are you still getting a bit of moisture?
Is there a back straightaway, Mike? I can't see. It's still just a little bit of mist. The mist has slacked up just a little from what it was a while ago, but off behind the stands down here, I can't see anything. Here come the trucks down pit road right now. We'll see what NASCAR says, but still kind of wet, particularly on pit road. They're letting them come in right now to clean the windshields. That ain't a good sign.
Well, they'll do that. It may be a sign that we're about to go racing. We'll find out when we come back to Nazareth Speedway. You're watching the Craftsman Truck Series on TNN. Welcome back to Nazareth, Pennsylvania. We are 1 lap away from green. The trucks have made a quick pit stop to white windshields only. And they're forming up file start. Technically, it's a restart as it'll become on lap 9. Glenn?
Yeah, that's right, Mike. And I took a survey of some of the guys that had been in. I asked Fred Graves, Jimmy Hensley's crew chief, what Jimmy said. He said, still wet down the front straightaway. They're still pretty careful about getting up high, still real wet against the wall. Jack Sprague said he didn't want to go at all, but one to go, that's what you're giving them. They're a little nervous about it all. Mike Bliss, and now I believe we're being waved off. I don't believe we're going to get that one to go.
You're right, Glenn.
Mike Bliss also says it's still pretty wet. He's not going to give them an answer until he gets to be the rabbit.
Okay. The Rabbit, of course, is the truck that pulls out from the pack to run a lap at speed to see how dry the track is. If they do go green, I put a buck or two on Scott Lagasse, the road racer using Kevin Doran's truck. He has a lot of rain racing experience, something that most of these oval track specialists don't have. It will take at least another lap or two.
I'm going to tell you, Hornaday's going to go, it don't matter whether it's dry, wet, whether he has to run the ground.
Nothing.
You got it.
That's right. I think you're right. So it'll be a lap or two before we get racing here in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Nazareth Speedway, and as lucky lap 13 comes up on the board, all of them under caution. The yellow flag gets furled up on the flag stand, and we get a 1 to go sign on the field. It will start single file. Jimmy Hensley in the Dodge, Jack Sprague, Ron Hornaday in Chevrolets, Mike Bliss in a Ford, Johnny Benson Chevy, Butch Miller, Rusty Wallace, Brian Refker in Fords, Ken Schrader, and Dave Resendiz in the top 10.
Many of the drivers called in and said the racetrack was ready, so it's a decision by the driver, not the NASCAR sport.
So at 13 laps of 200 complete, we're set to go racing this time by single file start.
I would be right now, if I was in one of these trucks, I'd get a handful of seat belt, pull them down, and get ready. And here they come.
Green flag, and look at Ron Hornaday on the outside of Jack Sprague. He nestles right in there in second spot, and everybody gets through turn 1. Okay. Hensley off turn number 3 now, and down the hill to the back straight.
The good part is you can see the back of the trucks as they go down this long back straightaway. You don't see any rooster tails, so it's pretty dry as they enter into turn way down there. Turn 4. Oh, we have a
Bill
problem.
Sedgwick is in the fence. Caution is out. He has shortened up the nose of his Chevrolet. And he's going to have a hard time seeing to get back to the pit. Spotter's going to have to work him around. I believe he's going to have to look out the left side window at the white line for guidance, as that hood is bowed way up in his field of vision. Well, we got a lap and a half of green in, and we're at lap 15. The pit road is closed. You see the indication. And here comes Sedgwick. We'll be back to Nazareth and update Bill Sedgwick after this. 9th place in the points. Bill Sedgwick comes to pit road for them to try to tie down the nose of that truck. Radio chatter indicated Sedgwick felt that somebody got into the back of him and precipitated the incident. Glenn Jarrett's there.
Yeah, Mike, you can't see it right now for they're doing the work on the truck. You can see the damage to the left front there. But on the left rear of the truck, there is indeed a tire mark that wasn't there when the race started. The left rear tire is also flat. Looks like somebody drove into the left rear of Sedgwick on the start there. So don't think this was weather related. I think they just got together on the racetrack.
It's possible that he and Jeff Burke made contact. We're back under green. Jimmy Hensley with the Dodge. That red Ram nose in the wind.
Well, they're really running quite fast right now, and I thought maybe they would run really slow to get in the race surface. You can see they picked up the crowd pretty well.
And Ron Hornaday, after getting a great jump on the start in the Napa Chevrolet, runs in second. The Mopar Dodge of Hensley. Turn 2 underneath the bridge. And turn 3 complex here and on the back straightaway. Jack Sprague holding on to third spot. Penzo, a new sponsor on Kurt Warwick's truck, the yellow number 18. Keeping things very close now from second on back because they've run down Hornaday.
I think that Jimmy Hensley is really taking this to the war right now. He's out front and pulling away quite a bit. I think right now the Hornaday realizes that I don't need to do anything silly, maybe get outside and get in the wet part of the racetrack and jury drive.
Hornaday in second, the Quaker State 24. Jack Sprague in third. Mike Bliss in fourth. Johnny Benson fifth. Sixth is Butch Miller. Seventh, Rusty Wallace. Eighth is Brian Rutherford. Ken Schrader in ninth. Dave Resendiz in 10th.
Now, Mike, if we're watching go around the racetrack right now, Hensley is very, very fast in qualifying, which was kind of a loose setup and using fresh tires on the truck, and he was really flying around this racetrack. A lot of these guys have trucks set up for a little warmer condition, a little slicker condition. And right now, it looks like Hensley's just motoring right on the way.
Temperature today only in the 60s. Nice cool day, but very humid. Giving by himself. Here's that great battle from second on back. And you see Johnny Benson, yellow number 18, who finished third here in last year's Busch Series race.
Just had a report this morning today that the truck is pushing just a little bit, which means the chassis is tight right at the moment. It'll get better as they go along with the tire stuff with the truck. Right now he's pushing the nose of the truck. As you can see it go out.
Glenn Jarrett's in his pit.
Yeah, Mike, they are reporting time, and that's not too surprising here, buddy, because of the green surface that we've got, all the rubber, all everything been washed away, so getting a lot of grip out there. And if anybody's going to complain about one being tight, won't turn, he wants it loose, that's Hornaday. I asked Doug Williams about it. Doug said, man, I don't know, this is my first job with these guys. That guy, everybody told me that guy's crazy anyway. He's not crazy, he just loves the race.
It's a good kind of crazy. And now you can see that Hornaday has put a little distance on Jack Sprague. Only about 2 truck lengths.
You know, you talk about Hornaday, he plays so many different types of racing that he can adjust to having a problem and move around on the race course and really pick up a line and get around pretty quick. You see, he hasn't been out, but he's still on that side of the top.
Snap number 16 of Ron Hornaday Jr. Palmdale, California driver. A lot of success in the Southwest Tour and East and West. Coming to this truck series. Dale and Teresa Earnhardt tapped him to drive their truck after watching Hornaday in winter heat on TNN.
Watching Johnny Benson just behind Hornaday here in the yellow truck. He's trying to make a move on like this on the inside. Not quite able to do it this strong in practice. He's fast in qualifying. You see the number 2 truck there. You take a look on the inside on what's wrong. That move on.
Team ASE Ultra Wheel Sport, number 2 for Bliss, and there Benson right on the bottom. And turn 3, but no opportunity coming down the hill in the back straightaway. Boy, Hensley's on rails, buddy.
That's a great feeling when you have a truck that's running that well. As you can see, it goes through the corner. Look how smooth it is. Like you've never seen it wiggle or anything. He's getting around this quite well.
A little wiggle there, but he got out right out into the wet stuff just for a little bit. He won here in 1990 in Busch Grand National competition. And there's Benson, had a look on the inside. That Pennzoil truck. Battle for fourth. Right there behind Jimmy Hensley. Pit row and Bob Keselowski. The Winnebago Dodge 29. Early unscheduled stop. Bill Sedgwick still in there trying to repair front end damage. Here's Glenn.
Mike Bob Keselowski brought his Dodge in, and he has been complaining since they went out, even under the green-yellow lamps, about a vibration that's in the drive line. They think that the drive shaft may be bent. Anyway, they're up under the truck right now trying to figure out what the problem is, but it's something that has started since he began his day here. It wasn't too good for him. Jacking the truck up, it's going to be a while.
Thanks, Glenn. Action back in the pack here is Kenny Allen. Works his way around the 7-1 Gato. And here come the leaders on them, though. Sedgwick back in the race. They go single file. Here comes Hensley.
Watch Hensley. Now he's in the back markers here trying to get in that position. One thing he does not fella there. They're getting great traction down there.
Hensley works his way around the 71 of Joe Gaeta. First race that Jimmy Hensley has led with the Dodge. That's a bit of a surprise. It's been quite competitive. That team, of course, has led a lot of races.
You know, Mike, that's one thing about the truck series. Any given week, we've got 10, 15 of the top-ranked trucks out there that can win on any weekend. So it's not one guy runs away with every show.
Moving around TJ Clark, 23, saving the sponsor for his machine. Clark is switched to Chevrolet. J&H Carlectables.
Come down the front straightaway here as Henson goes down into turn one. Very deceiving race corner there. You can get in there. You can see him weave a little bit getting in there. You have to set the truck up to get in that corner. They closed in about 8 or 10 truck laps on him as they started in turn one.
They lap around the number Walker Evans truck. That's the Dana entry. Number 20 out of Riverside, California for the multi-time off-road champion. Been a long time since Dodge was in victory lane in a major NASCAR race. There's a Dodge Stealth body modified, run by Bob Garbarino's team that's won some races, but it's not Dodge powered. You have to go back to Neil Bonnet back in the early 80s.
For the off-road racers around, that number 20 there of Walker Evans, he was really trying very hard. I told him, if you ever go out the gate and go across some jumps and stuff and come back to the race truck, that'd be great.
Johnny Benson got a little close there on TJ Clark. And now Mike Bliss and Benson work around Walker Evans. How hard do you want to run at this juncture of the race, buddy? 34 laps in.
You want to get after it pretty good because the leaders are getting away from this roof right now. And, you know, one thing you don't want to get in trouble, maybe start sliding and get yourself in trouble, but you have to run as fast as big trucks because if you lose a lot of track position and you don't have a yellow, you can lose a lap, and then when they stop it halfway and work on these trucks like they always do, then you're a lap down and you're in trouble when they're on first rubber and all.
Watching the battle for fourth, Mike Bliss and Johnny Benson. Traffic has really separated them from third place Jack Sprague. On a fast oval like this, but I guess a lot of where you run depends on how you catch the traffic and how easily you can get by it.
What you try to do is time everything where you're in the fast part of the racetrack and you make the pass not in the slow part. You want to have a good groove through the difficult angle. If I'm coming off the corner here, you wouldn't want to be way out wide and not get in the throttle there.
Mike Bliss reports a push on his number 2. Says he told the crew, Barry Dodson's pushing like a sled.
Well, that's a bad feeling. It's just like if you were turning into your driveway and somebody had put oil down, the nose just takes off and you can't stay in the groove on getting into your yard yet. Your front end's trying to go right to the wall.
Dwight Benson keeps running that lower line. There you see it, trying to sneak underneath Bliss. Hasn't been able to do it. Oh, he's got him.
There he goes. You can see him push out right there. Benson takes advantage and makes the move.
So Johnny Benson, pencil on number 18, moves up to fourth. Mike Bliss, Team ASE Ultra Wheel Sport, back to fifth, and now Butch Miller's in the picture. That just to the right, that 98 Revestas 4. Up front, Jimmy Hensley's having it all his own way in the Mopar number 30.
He's got company right behind him, though. You can see Hornaday is down to about 6, 8 truck lengths as we go off in the turn one.
There is Ron Hornaday. Hensley is the 21st different driver to lead in the Craftsman Truck Series this year.
Mike, that is really downhill. You can't tell it by that shot there. That straightaway here is a real drop as you start down. I think Hornaday's truck is really coming in to what he likes now. He's moving in on Hensley as we speak.
Turn 3 is the highest elevation on this racetrack. You go way down the hill to turn 4 and 5, and then start climbing again back past the start-finish line. Here's where you start down the hill, right here. There you get a good idea.
There, you can actually see the truck nose over. Look at Hornaday in the center part of the corner now. He's making up a lot of time on it.
Start climbing back up right here on a turn 5, and this is all uphill. Butch Miller inside of Mike Bliss, and Rusty Wallace is there. And the Miller, number 22.
Bliss is on the outside there saying, oh, I can't get this thing to turn, and these guys are putting me away. You can see off the corner there, Rusty's making the move as they start down the back straightaway.
Butch Miller moves up to 5th, and Rusty Wallace in his first ever start in the Truck Series. Now racing side by side with Bliss for 6th place. Brian Refner right there as well. The 1-800-COLLECT machine owned by Ernie Irvin.
I've been expecting Refner to maybe win pretty soon. He's been right up there every race. You see him making the move there on Bliss. He got a little bit sideways as he started off the corner there.
3 Fords battling for 6th place. You know, we say this is Rusty's first ever race in the trucks, but buddy, just how different are these trucks from Rusty's Mr. Cup car?
You know, I drove one in Tucson last year, and for about one lap, it's a truck, and then all of a sudden you go, hey, this is a pretty nice racing machine here. And they have tremendous, they're 100 horsepower stronger than the Busch Grand National car. They have to run straight up their housings in the truck, so it's a lot of driving involved and a lot of setup involved. But they really go down the straightaway.
The chassis as Refner moves underneath Mike Bliss, and Refner moves up to 7th. The chassis are very, very similar to a Winston Cup car.
I think so. I mean, you're only 100 horsepower off of a good Winston Cup car, and they have the same chassis under them. So other than the camber and the rear wheels, they're exact.
NASCAR has promised the teams a caution between lap 50 and 75 to take on fuel, and if the teams wish, 2 tires. We'll see how that strategy plays out. Of course, we'll have the usual halftime break scheduled at lap 100. Back up front, Jimmy Hensley, journeyman driver out of Martinsville, Virginia, Ridgeway actually. Jimmy Hensley probably has more driver's suits than anybody in NASCAR racing.
You know, if I was going to hire a guy to bring it home in one piece, be up front most of the day, Jimmy Hensley is the guy I'd be looking for, because he hardly ever makes a mistake on the racing course. And as you can see right here, he's smooth. And right now, he's actually pulling out on Hornaday just a little bit.
And he may have found himself a home in this truck series. It's the interval back to Ron Hornaday. They're in 2nd place. That's Bobby Gill just behind the Spears Manufacturing 75. And look further back to Jack Sprague in 3rd, the Quaker State 24, and here 4th place. There's Harry Gant, the 33. You saw Johnny Benson's yellow truck there briefly. We've been caution-free just about. One quick caution for Bill Sedgwick after they dropped the green flag finally. As we come up on the 50-lap mark.
You can see right as we were looking at Gill come off the corner there, the back of his truck actually got sideways. A lot of the chassis are giving up just a little bit right now, and without the cambered rear, if you really jump the throttle, you can make the rear wheel loose off any corner.
20 trucks, buddy, now on the lead lap. Oh, big trouble. TJ Clark's in the fence. Lance Norrick goes around, and John Nemechek is in it. The number 8. And that will bring out the caution here at lap 49. May or may not, it's a little early, it may or may not become the NASCAR caution for 2 tires. We'll wait a decision on that. And And the caution, a very tough break, it appears, for Rich Bickle and Scott Lagasse, who had just gotten lapped prior to this caution coming out. So we're under yellow for the second incident on the Speedway. TJ Clark is stopped there. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Nazareth, Pennsylvania. At lap 51, we're under caution. TJ Clark's number 23 Chevy, the most heavily damaged of the trucks involved in that incident at turn 3. John Nemechek was part of it, so was Lance Norick in the Dodge. Buddy, let's have a look here. So Clark comes into the pits for service. And the rest of the field comes on to pit road. This will be the NASCAR caution for fuel and 2 tires if the teams so choose. Let's go down to Glenn.
Well, Mike, right now, everybody that I see so opts to do that. They're going to the right side, change right side tires. Jimmy Hensley has said that his truck was just a little bit tight. Obviously, Mike Bliss' truck way tight. We got somebody watching to see exactly what they do. But everybody putting fuel and everybody on this this part of pit road going with right side tires. They cannot change but the 2, but that's what everybody in the field has done. So we'll see how that shakes out when they get back out. They will put them back out in the same order in which they came in.
Glenn, a little different down at our end of pit road near the start-finish line. Some of the teams, David Smith out of South Carolina and Ken Allen, not electing to take on tires, preferring to wait until the halfway stop at lap 100. But everyone else is taking on right side tires as they are down at your end of pit lane. There is a look at David Smith, just getting a gas and go, and because they will restart in the same order, there's really no rush to come off of pit road. Jimmy Hensley, the leader. Johnny Benson, Rusty Wallace, Jack Spray up there in 3rd. So Jeff Bodine comes off pit road. Johnny Benson in 4th, Butch Miller 5th, then Wallace. Then in 7th place, Brian Reffner. The 2 of Mike Bliss, the 99 of Jeff Burke, and Kenny Schrader. Stop on Mike Bliss.
You know, Mike, we were just talking about Kenny Allen, some of those guys not taking on tires. A lot of them don't have sponsors. They can't run in and put on fresh tires like that. When you're underfunded like those guys are, you have to just do what you have to do, and they'll have to wait until halfway. If they have any good tires, they'll put them on at halftime.
Well, originally, buddy, this race was formatted to run in 2 halves without a stop. They felt on fuel mileage they would need a stop here at 50 laps, and some teams felt they had gotten insufficient tire wear in practice and wanted the option of changing to. So as you say, they made it optional, and not everybody had to. Let's check with Glenn and update further on pit stops.
Well, Mike, as you said, Mike Bliss spent the longest time in the pits, and he appeared to be the fastest truck with the biggest problem. Barry Dodson told me they were going to make some adjustments. We saw they put right side tires on. They made air pressure adjustments on the left side tires. They also took some bite out of the rear of the truck. So they're still fighting that push position. They're doing all they can do right now to try to loosen that thing up to get it to the halfway mark. I got a feeling that we might see a shot for a swing change on that truck at halftime. It is really tight.
Meanwhile, Walker Evans, number 20, the Dana Dodge, being rolled back toward the garage area. A break for the veteran off-roader. This year, Evans on the Truck Series. Kind of an up and down season. Awarded in the top 10. It's set to go racing in a lap or so. 53 laps are complete.
If you want to know who's a lap down, just look on the left side of these trucks right here. These are the trucks that are a lap down.
Green flag as they come around at lap 53, and Jimmy Hensley tries to take off from Ron Hornaday. Jack Spray gets a good restart. He's right with Hornaday as they shuffle through lap traffic. 18 trucks are on the lead lap. Good clean restart.
That's a good sign right there. You can see the trucks running side by side, and then corners of the roof is not just one lane, but only 2 lanes wide.
Now Johnny Benson in 4th place will have some traffic to deal with before he can get back up with the leaders. Inside Sedgwick. Through his hookless.
quite well right now. I think track position is so important. He has good track position. We'll see if he can get to it.
There's Benson, who saw second and third a moment ago. And Sedgwick trying to hold on by placing points, but Jimmy Hensley has had his nose in the wind all day.
I guarantee you, every time he looks in the mirror and says, well, they're getting a little close, he thinks you scoot up for about 5 or 6 trucks.
Buddy, since they make their pit stops under caution in this series and come back out the way that they were running and line back up, it's possible Hensley could wire this thing right to checker.
Don't ever say that. When they can work on these things at halftime, they can make a small adjustment. Like Hornaday right now, he's complaining and pushing the nose a little bit. Hensley's not exactly the way he wants to be. Everybody makes changes. Now, who will make the right changes? That's the important part.
Jack Sprague trying to hang with Ron Hornaday. Here in the Quaker State, number 24. Napa, number 16 of Hornaday. The blue truck is ahead in second place. And does it look like they're gaining back on Hensley?
Well, that's what, you know, it's very deceiving. It slows in, Hensley moves out a little bit. Right now, it's whoever gets in the corners really well. And as you can see, Hornaday is pushing a little bit on Hensley as they go around here.
Traffic still stifling. Fifth place, Butch Miller. Rusty Wallace in sixth. Brian Refner in seventh. Mike Bliss in eighth. Jeff Burton in ninth. And Ken Schrader in 10th. Still dealing with lap traffic. Now here is Butch Miller. And Rusty Wallace right behind him. And then Miller, number 22. And Refner. Close there, huh?
Every time I see him out there, and I know that very outside part of the racetrack is a little bit down. You can see right there really jerk the wheel against the position to make the turn to the bottom side.
That wet stuff is no man's land. Out there where it's still a little damp on the surface. Mike Bliss just ahead of Sedgwick. Bill Sedgwick is 14 laps down after that damage. And Butch Miller getting a little distance on Rusty Wallace now.
Butch almost in the grass as we went through turn one. This is going under the tunnel there and up toward this is the slowest part of the race course. As you start to go down the back straightaway, now horsepower really comes into play.
Let's check with Len.
Mike's still taking a poll of some of the teams to find out exactly what they did to the trucks. Almost everybody reporting that they're tight. I came down to Mike Skinner's pits to check to see what they had done. He also was tight. Rick Burgess had already pulled these spring rubbers, or half rubbers these are, out, laid them out to get ready for halftime. They're going to have to put these probably in the rear springs. The truck is a little too tight, so they want to stiffen up the rear springs, see if they can get the truck to turn a little better. Ron Hornaday's crew also told me the very same thing. Looking forward to halftime. The truck is still too tight, just can't get it to turn. Green Racetrack's got them all scrambling right now.
Buddy, I think that's one of the greatest facets of this Craftsman Truck Series is you have halftime and you can kind of build yourself a brand new handling truck in the second half.
Well, the good part is you don't have a blowout where one truck goes out.
This truck?
Okay, this truck right now seems to be a little bit quicker. Now, when they make these stops, you watch and see, he'll have a lot of company for that first spot.
I think you're right. Jimmy Hensley, the leader in the Mopar number 30, the Napa number 16, the Chevy of Ron Hornaday in second, and the Quaker State Chevy of Jack Sprague in third, Benswell Chevrolet, Johnny Benson in fourth, and the Ray Vestas Ford of Butch Miller sits fifth.
At Hornaday, he's moving in here. Hensley's got a mirror full of him now, and Jack Sprague in the green and white truck coming down the back straightaway there is in third, and he's actually keeping up very well.
They have quite a bit of distance on fourth place Johnny Benson just because of the way things sorted out on the restart. Benson had to work his way past with some lap traffic to move around Ken Allen's number 65. 64 laps complete.
Boy, Hornaday is moving in. You can see there, there's less than a truck left between the two of them as they started into turn 4 there. Now Hornaday, they have turned it up just a little bit, and I'm not sure whether Hensley is really pushing as hard as he possibly can right at the moment. If he is, he's in trouble.
He was there at turn 5, buddy. Just a little bit of a wiggle as he kind of tossed it and caught it before getting onto the home straight here. Down the backstretch hill and toward turn number 4. Very long, sweeping turn. come right up to the wall here, and then work your way through turn 5 and onto the front straight again. Let's go back to 7th place here, where Refner now has his hands full of Mike Bliss. Call 1-800-COLLECT. I think Bliss is picking up the phone.
I think Bliss right now is able to hold that truck down on the bottom part of the racetrack. After stopping a while ago, they may have made a little air pressure change and that truck made it a little bit better. He seems to be running quite well.
And Jeff Burton is right there. Burton now the 9th place truck. Inside batteries 99. Working his way on the bottom, trying to get under Mike Bliss. Wiggle it just a little there.
You know, Mike, these guys are having fun out there. This truck division, I was down to this the way Winston Cup racing used to be before. All the huge money and the pressure got to the guys. They really enjoy it. They cut up with each other, but one wins, they all win. You know, they really have a good time together.
Jeff Burton's having a good time. He is underneath Mike Bliss. He's going to steal each spot away, and does. And just ahead is Brian Refner. Refner says the truck is tight and pushing. He can barely drive it. They changed a pound of air in the right rear and added half a round. Is what they will do on the pit stop. And Mike Bliss reports the same problem. You saw the truck tight there as Jeff Burton got underneath in the 99.
Like he wants to go in the tailgate there as he starts the corner. These guys are going at it. They're having a great time right now. You know, down the straightaway, it seems that nobody really has an advantage. Where you really make your time is right here in the corner.
And contact a little further back, Jeff Bodine and Mike Skinner got together. We have not seen much of Skinner today. He has been outside the top 10 so far all afternoon.
Instinctive changes in groove right there. Jeff Burton really made a hard left there, kept the truck down, and Refner went around. He really had to fight to keep Bliss back there.
Refner struggled really strong in the first 50 laps. Here at lap 70, he has lost the handle. Jimmy Hensley is ripping off the laps here. 18 trucks on the lead lap, and now Ron Hornaday has closed right in on the back bumper of that Dodge. Here's Glenn.
Well, guys, this is Fred Graves. He's the crew chief for Jimmy Hensley. Fred, you're not able to enjoy quite as big an advantage as you had before the break. Is the truck gone away, or has Hornaday just gotten a little better?
Well, it worked out just a little bit tight in that first session, and we made an air pressure adjustment, and we just had to readjust it in our halfway break here to get it back to where we need to be.
Okay, so they may have went a little too far with their adjustment, and it's definitely showing up on the racetrack. Hornaday giving him a lot of pressure right now.
They lap past the 33 of Harry Gant, Westview Capital Chevy, and Hornaday is there.
I'm trying to really diagnose what happened to him in his truck. He was so dominant the first 25, 30 laps. As I told you, the racetrack itself is changing right now. It looks like it may be coming on a day setup.
Jimmy Hensley is so smooth a driver. Often, if there's something wrong with that truck, it's very difficult to see it.
Well, you can't see it because now he's pulled out about a 4 or 5 car or truck left lead as they start down into turn 4.
Over the tunnel and off turn number 5, back to the home stretch. 74 laps complete. Hensley in the Dodge, Hornaday's Chevrolet, Jack Sprague in a Chevy, Butch Miller, Ford, and Johnny Benson Chevrolet, the top 5. Rusty Wallace is 6th. Jeff Burton is 7th. Brian Refner is 8th. Mike Bliss is 9th. And Jeff Bodine has climbed into the top 10.
I think right now what you're seeing is the smoother drivers are moving towards the front. And all the guys are moving up as we speak. And you can see right now, Hensley seems to be able to do whatever he needs to do to stay in the lead. Hornaday moves into the truck in the lead there. Now you see smoothness is paying off as Hensley moves back out in front again.
Well, let's go to the pits of the second place truck. Here's Glenn.
Well, guys, earlier this week, Doug Richard, Ron Hornaday's crew chief since the truck series started, left the team. This man, Doug Williams, replaced him. He's a veteran of Winston Cup racing many years. Doug, you guys
Yeah, Glenn, right now the down Chevrolet's working real good. The truck's just a little bit tight on the get-go. Made one adjustment to the track bar, a little bit of air pressure adjustment on this midway stop. I think we'll be right there.
Hornaday, a pretty easy guy to work with.
Oh, yes, he sure is. A lot of fun, too.
He knows a lot about that chassis. They've got some more stuff in mind at the halftime break.
So a bit of new thinking there. The team otherwise unchanged. And Doug Richard is a good crew chief. Be idle for long.
I like what's happening right now. Every one of these guys that are not leading right now, fixing their truck with the crew chief as they talk back and forth. Okay, here's what it needs. We stop. Have this ready. Have this ready. And they're getting everything lined up right now for these great changes at halftime. I love this concept. I think it should be. It's something we ought to look at. Maybe in other types of racing.
Well, it sure has worked well in a starting out series like the Craftsman Truck Series this last year and a half. Johnny Benson had Rusty Wallace all over his back bumper, and now traffic has separated them behind the truck lane. Miller just ahead, and Jeff Burton just behind them.
Boy, Rusty's very strong though. He moved in on Benson. You can see Rusty actually fight that truck just in. Coming off the corner, you can see him turn the wheel back to the right. He's not pushing. He's a little bit on the loose side of the car.
And Burton moving in of 99, the Exide truck. Very different lines there through turn 3. You come out of turn 2 under the bridge here, and then when we went down to the infield and watched them in practice, they either lift or feather the throttle, but you're definitely off the gas. There's a little straightaway between turns 2 and 3. It doesn't look like it from here, but they do drive it like a little bit of a straightaway.
Well, the trucks are working well right now. You can see Rusty Wallace is able to turn a little bit better than Benson is. He can stay about a half a turn down coming off the corner. Benson's got that good line. As I say that, here comes Rusty trying to make a move down in the corner.
Got the room. Got the pavement to work with. So Wallace puts the Ford into the top 5.
Did that look easy or what?
Yes, it did.
Wow. Benson must be fighting that thing pretty hard there. It looked like he may have just moved over.
Here comes Jeff Burton. Looked like he was going to take the measure of Wallace on the inside. Burton in only his second truck start. Finished 8th at Topeka on the road course after starting 28th. Burton definitely running a lower line through turn 5 there, the Mustang.
Well, that could be because he's running maybe softer springs to get a little better side lane, or Rusty may have it just a little bit of a problem right now, but Benson definitely is off just a little bit. He'll make some adjustments and come back strong, I'm sure.
Here comes Burton on the inside of Rusty Wallace. Trying to put the Exide truck into the top 5 and does so.
That's give and take on the racetrack. You can see Rusty check out, let him go ahead. He didn't hold him up. A lot of times we make better time trying to keep up with the leaders by not fighting side by side at this early part of the race.
And you notice where Rusty was up on the high side and let Burton draft on by down to the bottom. It was a move that really didn't slow up either truck.
Well, that's what you do. I mean, that's the whole idea. When you hear them saying, they do it in the driver's seat, they say, hey, this is the give and take sport. 10 laps to go, there is no give. You only take them. But right now, if you have a truck moving that much faster, it gives me pulled away from 5, 6 truck laps a day. Just a couple of laps here. So why fight? You're sure don't get by anyhow.
Well, let's go down to Glenny's with last week's winning Winston Cup crew chief.
And that familiar face belongs to Robin Pemberton. Robin, looks like Rusty hasn't got the thing exactly the way he wants it. I know you guys got a lot of changes to make at halftime.
Yeah, he hasn't said anything about the car really too much. Or the truck, excuse me, there's $100. But
it's only $1.
We're just going to wait and see. You know, we made some tire adjustments during that competition yellow. And, you know, give or take, we can run about as fast as the leader, maybe a 10th off at worst. So we'll see what happens at halftime.
We'll let him get back to work right now. I'm going to collect $100 and I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, we won our third of it, Clem, and the Snell Foundation gets the rest. Jeff Burton working well, and Rusty Wallace also working race traffic. Check He is on the lead lap.
Just behind him is Scott Legacy that drove for him last year. So we have the new ride here, the number 77 truck.
That's Kevin Doran's truck. Doran, who engineers the Volvo IMSA Ferrari race team, put together this truck team. They were out of Denver. On a selected schedule this year.
Mike, you know, in every phase of racing, all you hear is motor. We know he has a motor. Right now, chassis is holding him back because that truck always runs like a bear down the straightaway. Right now, he's off in the corner.
Right in that pack, too, Rick Corelli. The Chevron Remax number 6, last week's winner. And this Rick Corelli on the lead lap, back about 14th position at number 6. Ken Schrader just ahead of him. AC Delco 52, there's Schrader, there's Corelli. And here's the leader, 88 laps. Completed by Jimmy Hensley, who has led every one of them. 11 laps to halftime. As Jimmy Hensley works underneath the 92 of Charlie Cragen of Hopewell, Pennsylvania, the red truck.
Boy, that shows a great handling truck. He just went right against the inside yellow line through one corner, past the truck on the bottom side, went to the outside, past the truck on the outside. That's pure handling.
Bob Brebeck falls a lap. And you see Ron Hornaday having a little more trouble than Hensley did getting by that group. The next truck in line is going to be Hensley's Dodge stablemate, the Richard Petty truck of Rich Bickle. Cummins number 43. 9 laps to go to halftime, and boy, Bickle's going to need to fight to stay on the lead lap here.
You can see down the straightaway the two were very, very even. But watch when they come up on really the part of the racetrack, if you have to turn the truck, it seems that Hensley is very able to make the move there.
Bickle's best finish fourth at Monroe, Washington, or rather second at Tucson, and a fourth at Monroe. And Hensley, I don't think he's going to have the luxury of waiting around for halftime and keep Bickle on the lead lap here.
I think Bickle's going to fight as hard as he can to stay in the lead lap. He knows it's just a few more laps before they stop, and boy, if he can stay in the same lap, that would mean a lot.
Lance Norrick just ahead in the third of 5 Dodges that started this race, and the ram horn got put to Norrick there. Oh, and Norrick's in the fence. Lance Norrick. Something happened. The right front is down, and a shower of sparks from Lance Norrick's Dodge. The Mecklenburg Duncan Dodge. I don't think that brief contact had much to do with Norrick getting into the fence. I think he was probably, it appeared to me, that he was trying to get out of the way of the leaders and may have gotten into the marbles and into the wall.
Mike, when you get way up high like that, there's a lot of debris up there, and the truck just wouldn't turn. I don't think the contact has anything to do with it. That's too bad, though. It's a beautiful truck.
What? 94 laps are complete. We're under caution for the 3rd time today, not counting the initial caution to dry the track in the green-yellow situation we started with. Lance Norrick has a lot of damage. We'll be right back. Lance Norrick of Oklahoma City has some pretty serious right front suspension damage to his Dodge truck after the bout with the wall. Let's show you what happened here as the leaders were coming up to lap him. Big break on that caution flag. He was just ahead of Jimmy Hensley and gets the free pass. Caution coming up to come all the way around.
Boy, he fought hard for that position. He held on to it, though, and now he's in the lead lap. That means a whole bunch when they get to work on these trucks and start back after halftime.
Unofficially, 17 trucks are on the lead lap because it's the last of those. Jimmy Hensley, Ron Hornaday, Jack Sprague, Butch Miller, Jeff Burton, the top 5. Rusty Wallace in 6th. Johnny Benson in 7th. Brian Refner in 8th. Mike Lewis in 9th. And now Joe Rutland shows up on the board in 10th. Jeff Bodine, Dave Resendiz, Ken Schrader, Rick Corelli, Mike Skinner, Scott Lagasse, the road racer, and Rich Bickle are the trucks on the lead lap. Coming up on halftime as we'll get the green flag here at lap 97. And Hornaday is all over Rich Bickle as they go to turn 1.
He's going to put the pressure on him, hoping he'll make one little mistake where he can't get this halftime lead here.
Some guys would just say, well, let's ride to halftime and sort it out. Not Hornaday.
I don't think Hornaday would ride a hobby horse. This guy really, he likes to race. Yeah, he enjoys it.
Ron Hornaday held the points lead from the 3rd race of the season at Portland right up until last week when he finished 8th at Bristol, Tennessee, surrendering the point lead to Mike Skinner, the defending champion. There's Sprague in 3rd place, working underneath the 92 of Reagan. Butch Miller and the 99 of Jeff Burton. Top 5.
Boy, definitely strong. You can see already he's pulled out about a 2-truck length lead there over Hornaday. Hornaday can keep with him for about a lap, but that's about it. Oh, Hensley got sideways there.
Sure did. That Dodge nearly won a race last year, and it has been up front. This competition is just a question of putting the horsepower, the handling, and the reliability together to get to victory lane. Halfway this time, Jimmy Hensley will collect the halfway money in that Mopar Dodge. Ron Hornaday runs in 2nd, and next time around they'll get the caution for halftime.
Okay, Hornaday made a run at him. He could see that he wasn't going to be able to make the pass. You see he's kind of backed off a little bit.
So this should be the yellow flag for halftime, and it is. At lap 101, Dodge, Chevy, Ford, the top 5. And we'll be back to recap halftime pit stops right after this word. Welcome back to Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Mike Joy with Buddy Baker and Glenn Jarrett. It's halftime. So trucks are up in the air, tires getting changed, perhaps some spring changes and more. Jimmy Hensley, the leader, getting service from Freddie Graves and crew. Here's 2nd place Ron Hornaday in the pits. Glenn is there.
Well, Mike, they have his truck completely jacked up off the ground. So they're going to start in the rear end here, obviously change all 4 tires, but they're going to make a rear track bar adjustment to try to loosen the truck up. Still just a touch tight. We'll slip in here and get a word with Ron right now. Ron, so far so good. You came up through there. You hang on to 2nd for a long time. Have you got anything for Hensley?
I sure hope so. We're just a little tied off, and you know, the start of the race, Jack wasn't ready to get up to speed because the thing, I jumped to the outside, he ran to the back, and it got me sideways. But I think we got something. We're just a little tied off the corners, and this Napa Chevrolet is running good. We just came out with a great tire again. I tell you, we just abused the heck out of him, trying to run with Jimmy with the lap traps and everything. It's working good.
Can you change your groove out there? Can you work around on the racetrack, or you pretty much have to stay in line?
You can work it pretty good. You know, we made a little track bar adjustment the time before with 2 right-side tires. We're going to make a track bar adjustment again.
Well, you can bet Ron Hornaday will try that. Jimmy Hensley, meanwhile, only going to make about a half around the wedge adjustment with his 4 tires, Mike.
Well, that truck doesn't need much adjustment. The rear lackey number 30. Mopar remanufactured parts machine. And they're going to do a little track drying. Trying to get a little more, or keep a little heat in the asphalt, not so much dry it, but keep some heat in it while the trucks are in being serviced. Mike Skinner has been out of the top 10 all day. That is very uncharacteristic of Will Lynn and that Childress team. Good wrench number 3. And adjustments going on all up and down pit road. Jack Sprague, the 3rd place truck. Dennis Connor, the Hendrick team, has the Quaker State truck down off the jack stands already. The rear is still up in the air on Butch Miller's Ray Bestis brakes, red carpet lease number 98. Miller has completed 96% of all the laps run in this truck series since its inception. A record for Butch Miller. 5 trucks out of the race thus far. There's Rusty Wallace, Robin Pemberton, and the crew. Asked Robin, I said, gee, you think you won the Winston Cup race of Michigan, you get a weekend off. He says, no, we're here working on the truck. He says, you just imagine what we would have gotten this week if we hadn't won. And Glenn is down by Mike Skinner.
Mike, a lot of service work going on the Goodrich Service Chevrolet right now. Mike Skinner sitting in the cab, not exactly happy with things. Mike doesn't look like it's exactly the way you want it right now.
Glenn, we're struggling a little bit right now. I guess we just missed the setup. I don't know what happened, but these boys are working real hard. We're going to try to do what we can to make this thing a little bit better for the second half.
Looks like it's just a little tight. You can't turn the truck where you want it.
It's tight. One will happen loose the next. I don't know. Might have a bad driver in it today. I'll tell you, this thing. I just can't get predicted what I need to do for these corners. We're making some chassis adjustments. If they help the chassis, I might be able to handle it a bit better.
Wish him luck, and don't believe that, folks. He's not a bad driver. Heck, he's the series champion.
Well, that's the mark of a champion, a fellow who can take a truck that's not working too well, smile about it, and say, you know, we're going to get better. We're at 101 laps. It is halftime here in the first ever truck race at Nazareth. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Nazareth, Pennsylvania. At halftime, Jimmy Hensley is the leader. Ron Hornaday in second. Third to Jack Sprague. Fourth, Butch Miller. Fifth is Jeff Burton. Sixth, Rusty Wallace. Seventh, Johnny Benson. In eighth, Brian Repner, the series leading rookie. In ninth, Joe Rutman. And 10th is Mike Bliss as we get ready to go back to racing. And the jet dryer works its way around the track to keep heat in the asphalt. Let's check with Glenn.
Well, Mike, we reported that Jimmy Hensley was in for what he hoped would be a routine 4-tire stop, minor chassis adjustment. When they went to refire the truck, it would not come back up. They could get no fuel pressure. They did change the fuel gauge, or excuse me, the fuel filter on the car. These things don't have fuel gauges, but they changed the fuel filter on the truck. They hope that that's the problem. I want to ask Fred Graves, the crew chief, what a problem they're getting refired. Is the fuel filter the answer?
No, Glenn, we had a little problem. We got a new fuel pressure gauge in there, and it was starting to fill up with gas. There must be something wrong with the gauge, so we just took the line off the back of the carburetor and capped it off just to be safe.
Well, it looks like I was right the first time. The fuel gauge was the problem. So Jimmy Hensley hoping that that problem will not resurface once they restart this race. Man, that'd be a shame the way that truck's running, have a fuel flow problem knock him out.
Well, Jimmy has led every lap so far. The 101 that we have contested here, Ron Hornaday, for much of that distance, has been right on his bumper. So despite the weather today, the race is official. We have passed the half distance, and again, we wish to apologize that we're not able to show you any onboard pictures. You see how foggy it is there up over the backstretch. That low cloud cover and ceiling has prevented our helicopter from getting up in the air and relaying the pictures back down to the broadcast sports technology trailer down outside the garage area, so no onboard pictures today, but we hope you're enjoying the racing. Lance Norick is still on pit road. They've been trying to get his truck repaired, get him back out for points, but the right front damage was severe when he hit the wall. And at first I thought he would not make it back out, but now they've got a new wheel and tire fitted, and if he can get it to steer, he'll try to run a few more laps. As we get set for the restart, that's number 12, David Smith, on the inside. And moving up into position there, number 92, Charlie Cragen, out of Pennsylvania. 18 trucks unofficially, I think that's 17, are on the lead lap. Back through Mike Skinner, Rick Corelli, Scott Legacy, and Rich Bickle.
Mike, it's easy to see who's a lap down here. All you got to do is look on the right-hand side of the screen there. That's the leftover cars on the inside of the racetrack there. They're one lap down or more.
Safety crews at the ready. They've had a busy day running all that fleet of Chevy trucks around the racetrack to dry it. They did it all day. The Busch North race scheduled earlier today will run at the conclusion of this event or at a later date. Andy Santerre and Kelly Moore on the front row for that one. Michael Laughlin Jr. and Mike Stefan on the front four. Let's check with Glenn before we get a restart in one lap.
Well, Mike, just to update you on everything that we could keep track of that went on down here. Again, Hornaday was hoping to loosen his up a little bit. Hensley just a little tight. He says his mainly coming off of turn 3, so they've made a very, very small chassis adjustment. I believe that the biggest adjustments down here were made by Mike Skinner. One guy to keep an eye on, in fact, two guys, both driving forward. Jeff Burton has moved all the way up into the top 5. He passed about 11 or 12 trucks. He's a guy to keep an eye on. He was on the move. Also, Rusty Wallace. They made some changes on his truck at halftime. I think he may be able to challenge a little better than he did in the first half.
Thanks, Glenn. We're getting set for the restart this time by. Congrats also to Rick Fuller, who won the NASCAR modified race this weekend up at one of the New Hampshire short tracks. Picked up his second victory in a row on the Featherlight Modified Tour. He was here to contest the Busch North event, but engine problems put them on the trailer yesterday. 101 laps complete, 99 to go. Dodge, Chevy, Ford, front five. Up on the outside, Hensley will bring them around. Pontiac Trans Am pace car hits pit road. Look at Hornaday peeking to the outside of Hensley. We are back under green. Here comes Hornaday, squeezing down into turn number 1, and he's not going to make it.
He's not going to make it, but he's going to try again. You can bet on that. Right now, I'm sure Hensley's wondering how much moisture is there really on the racetrack after this restart. You think Hornaday cares? No, he's putting a lot of pressure on him.
Can't wait around to find out. Single file down that long downhill back straightaway. Hornaday looking low on the racetrack, but he's right in Hensley's tire tracks coming off turn 5.
Well, Mike, you can't pass on the restart on the inside, but you can on the outside. Hensley left the lane open, and Hornaday tried to make it.
And here's Hornaday again on the bottom. But Hensley, he's got a lot of power in that truck.
Running a very smooth line. You can see Hornaday kind of wiggle as he come off the corner there, but it looks like he's got rid of that pushing condition. Look out, he'll be trouble.
Ron Hornaday right up under the rear spoiler of Jimmy Hensley. Oh, Hensley a little loose there at turn 3.
Hornaday is not giving him any room to really make a mistake, and here comes Hornaday on the inside as they start down in the corner.
And for the first time today, someone other than Jimmy Hensley gets the lead. Ron Hornaday puts the Napa Chevy out front. The 6th time he's led this year. And Sprague dives to the bottom and takes away second spot.
Well, it don't take much here. All you got to do is wiggle once and you'll lose 2 or 3 spots. You can see right here.
Is Hornaday that good right now? Is his truck that good? Or did Hensley say, well, let those guys go burn them up for a while?
Mike, that was an ambush job. That's what that was. He put the pressure on when they started back and didn't let up.
At third now is Butch Miller, and fourth, the 99 is Jeff Burton. Rusty Wallace still 6th. Johnny Benson 7th. Joe Ruttman 8th. Ryan Reffner 9th. And Mike Bliss 10th.
Like Jack Sprague may have the fastest truck out there right at the moment. He's moving in on Hornaday. He's pulled down about 4 or 5 truck laps on him. Don't count him out. He's one of the fastest trucks all weekend.
Well, is Jimmy Hensley's truck okay? Let's check with Glenn.
They say so in his pitch, Mike. Fred Gray said that the track just got a little slippery, too slippery for Jimmy's liking there during the halftime break. He just didn't want to take any chances getting out of the groove, spinning the truck. He still thinks he has the truck to win the race with, so he's just biding his time right now to let these guys hopefully burn their tires off a little bit. He's got a lot of time. He just looking to take any of this chance.
Better not wait too long. So just behind him is one of the best slick track drivers in Butch Miller.
That's right. Anybody, he says, I'm the best tire saver in NASCAR, Butch Miller says. We've seen him do it.
You know, I've hardly ever watched a guy that moved up through ASA that wasn't that way. That really good race car drivers come through that area. When they run ASA, they learn to manage the cars.
There's Miller top of your screen, that number 98 truck closing in. Hornaday the leader, Sprague, and there is Butch Miller. He's right with the front 4.
Very, very strong. He's able to run a very low line through the corners. Don't count him out yet. He hadn't won this year, but he could here today.
Picked up that victory last year at Denver. Beating Mike Skinner, they traded places, traded the lead twice on the last lap. 90 laps to go. This time by. And still the front 4 stays tightly together.
I just don't believe in Hensley back up to speed like he was just before the stop, or the improvements they made on these chassis. Like I told you, just because you win that first half does not mean you're going to be dominant second half.
Sprague closing right up now on Ron Hornaday.
Boy, he's looking good. You see Hornaday's truck kick out just a little bit as he started in the corner. Sprague is keeping the heat on him.
Jack Sprague, a winner at Phoenix, runner-up at Homestead, and at Topeka. Fourth at Colorado, fifth at Tucson, and last week at Bristol. He's only had 2 races out of the top 5 this year. He's really come into his own this season.
Look how good Sprague's truck is staying in the bottom part of the racetrack there. He was a full half of truck left down under Hornaday as they started into that very difficult corner as they started toward the bridge there.
Sprague looking for the lead on Hornaday, has a little room on the bottom. Will Hornaday give him any room at turn 1? He's going to have to.
Now watch him come back on the inside, just like his boss.
If that's not an Earnhardt move, I don't know what. Wham! Hello. If that's not an Earnhardt move, I don't know what.
Now, what they've done there is let Hensley move back into the fray here, running side by side. Neither one of them are running the preferred line, and Hensley moves in.
Yep, Jimmy Hensley just sitting there going, I'm here. Sprague's got the run up off the corner here, but Hornaday has a short way around. Back to turn 1, side by side, and Sprague gives Hornaday the whole bottom of the racetrack. He had to. He hadn't cleared him yet.
He's not giving up, though. He's fighting back like a tiger on the outside there. He's giving nothing.
You gotta love this. And there's Hensley, and Butch Miller, and Jeff Burton.
Yeah,
Sparks from Burton from the left rear.
Jeff Burton making that outside groove work pretty well there. He's the fifth car rather, in this group, the number 99 with the pink nose on it coming into the frame there. You can see he's moving well, moving to the inside now.
Well, buddy, as he hit the brakes at the end of the backstretch, there were a lot of sparks from the left rear wheel housing of Burton's truck.
What that is, I think, is unused gas out of the exhaust there. I don't think he has a problem at all.
Look at how this race has all pulled back together, with Sprague and Hornaday fighting side by side for the lead. Third race that Jack Sprague has led this year. He won one of them.
See, Hornaday's gone all the way back to third now. I think they may have went too far back in their adjustments in the pit stop there, because you see Butch Miller moving in on him. There's a pass of the trucks there. This thing's going to get exciting now.
Here comes Burton down to the inside of the 99, and Benson has a look under Rusty Wallace. They stay single file. I still kind of think Jimmy Hensley is the truck to beat that guy.
He's running awfully well, and we're getting reports from Hornaday's complaining of being a little bit too loose now, and you can't over-adjust, and it looks like they may have done just that.
Now, buddy, they'll have one more chance to adjust on these trucks. There'll be a caution between lap 150 and lap 175. If there's not a caution for an incident, NASCAR will wave a yellow, allow the teams to top off the fuel tanks, and if they wish, change up to 2 tires.
Well, you can see Hornaday has dropped it back just a little bit. I'm sure that he knows what he needs to do, but unfortunately, when the green's out, there's nothing you do to drive and run as fast as you possibly can until you do stop.
117 laps on the board, 83 to go. This crowd has been patient all day. They've been rained on several times, but they're being rewarded here with a great race. Front 2 getting a little distance on the field now. Third on back is still a catfight.
Boy, Hensley looks good. That truck is really burying itself down in the corner. He's able to stay low. Down the straightaway, I'm noticing Hensley's got a lot of power in that Dodge.
And in the first half of the race had the handling to go with it. May still have. Hard to tell at this point. Now, Mike Skinner has been battling for the last 40 laps or so with Dave Rezendes in the QTC number 7. Kenny Schrader there in the AC Delco 52. Rick Pirelli in the Remax number 6 had been part of that battle, but has now drifted back a bit. These three, buddy, have really been going at it.
Schrader, I'll tell you what, I think if they could build build a racetrack in his bedroom, he'd be happy. This man races everywhere, anytime. You could throw a handful of dirt up and he'd run through it, I promise you.
I think so. Schrader, they're both looking low underneath Mike Skinner. Resendiz may get Skinner this time. And 12th place changes hands, or does it?
Take care of him right there. You see him on the outside. You just cannot get back in the trouble. You see Schrader making a move on Skinner as they come out. Now watch down the straightaway. This 3 truck is running very well, but down in the corner he's having a problem.
Ken Schrader underneath the 3 of Skinner and takes the spot away. Schrader fighting hard for 13th spot, and now Rick Torelli, the Remax number 6. Cummins Diesel 43 for Rich Bickle right there.
Yeah, you saw Rich Bickle almost go a lap down. Now he's up in here trying to get some good point positions as he's moving along quite well now.
If they're able to pass Skinner, knock it back to 16th place. Third place, where Ron Hornaday in the Chevy now trying to hold off Butch Miller's Ray Gustus Ford.
You see what Hornaday's doing. A lot of racetrack there trying to hold that back straight. They're doing a great job of it. You can tell it's not up to speed like some of these trucks.
Got Burt and Rusty Wallace, Benzoil yellow truck of Johnny Benson.
I wouldn't count Rusty Wallace out in 22 there either. He's running a very, very smooth race right at the moment. He seems to be moving in. As you can see him right behind the pink and black number 99 of Jeff Burton.
That's the Excise Ford. They run 5th and 6th ever since the halftime break. Running pretty much nose to tail.
Good run though. I mean, a brand new truck, first time out. Rusty Wallace is doing a great job.
It's flirted with the top 5, currently holds 6th place. And they're closing up on Butch Miller. Miller has drifted back a bit from Hornaday. Up front, Jack Sprague. Quaker State number 24. Dennis Conner, the crew chief for Hendrick Motorsports.
I'll tell you what, he looks strong. Now, he looks as good as Jimmy Hensley did the first 100 laps right now. You can see Sprague in green and white number 24 there, moving away from what we thought was a world beater right here, Jimmy Hensley in the 30.
He's only had, as we said, 2 races out of the top 5 and only 1 finish out of the top 10 this year.
Having that Hendricks power plant and Dennis Conner and all the people that work on this truck, that's a very talented race team.
Battle here for 3rd place on back. Hornaday, Napa number 16. And right behind him, Butch Miller, Jeff Burton, and Rusty Wallace.
Good racing, I'm telling you. Anybody, you know, every once in a while you hear somebody say something about truck racing. This is as good a racing as any you'll ever go into. These guys really go at it from the time they start to the time they start.
73 laps to go here. The way they're running right now, Ron Hornaday would go back into the point lead, and Jack Sprague would move up to 2nd. Mike Skinner would drop to 3rd. Jimmy Hensley right now running in 2nd place, but there's a little concern in the Hensley camp. Glenn?
Well, absolutely, Mike. As we reported right before the halftime was over, they found the fuel problem. It has resurfaced. Jimmy has radioed in and told Fred Graves that the truck seems to be running out of fuel right at the end of the straightaway and just not picking up enough fuel, so he has developed a little bit of a miss. He is able to maintain 2nd place right now, but he's falling further and further behind Jack Sprague. So they're going to try to take a look at it when they come in. It just depends on how much NASCAR will let them do to the truck. Only supposed to during the competition yellow, they're supposed to change tires and put in fuel. So definitely has a fuel problem again.
A shame for Jimmy Hensley's ride. dominated thoroughly the first 100 laps. Jack Sprague, your leader at lap 130. Here is Hensley, the second place truck. And the battle from third on back. Hornaday moving underneath Doug George. Sprague has never been out of the top 3 in the points this season. He led after Phoenix and has been first, second, or third every race as far as the point standings is concerned. Lap 132, it is too early for the competition yellow that NASCAR talked about. There is debris at turn 2, we are told. That's what's brought forth this caution. 133 laps, 67 to go. And Marvel's up there, tire blowing off the tire. These trucks. And pit road opened up as the pace car has the field in tow. We'll be back with more from Nazareth Speedway after these messages. Getting set for the restart, Mike Skinner made a pit stop under this caution, buddy, and took 3 rounds into the left rear.
Trying to get more bite. One thing they have to be aware of, when they start back, there is a little moisture on the racetrack from the viewpoint that's out there right now, so they have to be very careful on this particular lap until they get the crew back into racing condition here.
Also, Fred Graves told Glenn Jarrett that this fuel delivery problem on Jimmy Hensley's truck is intermittent. It comes and goes. We'll see how he's able to hold on for the rest of this one. 65 laps to go. Skinner, you saw briefly, tail end of the field, trying to pick back up as Jack Sprague leads them across the complete lap 136. Jimmy Hensley in second. The lap truck of Bill Sedgwick separating them from Ron Hornaday, Butch Miller, and Jeff Burton. Side-by-side battling back behind those 2 leaders. They've been able to scoot out away from the lap traffic.
What you have now is good racing conditions again, because the racetrack is back where the grooves are pretty tight for these races.
Whoa, 3 wide, buddy. Here comes Burton on the bottom, but Butch Miller shut him down.
Well, I tell you what, Jeff Burton's showing me a lot right now. He's trying very hard. He was up under there, made it 3 wide, didn't quite get it pulled off. You see Rusty Wallace just behind him, trying to take that spot away from him.
So Burton hangs on to 5th. He had a shot at 4th place, working on the lap truck of Bill Sedgwick.
Seems to me Hensley's running quite well right at the moment. Sprague is not able to pull that distance out like he did just seconds ago, so maybe that condition is getting better. But usually, if you have a fuel problem, it don't get well, it gets worse.
The caution flag may have helped Jimmy.
Whoa! Johnny Bolton's got trouble. I think he has a tire going down or something. He got very, very sideways.
That's a yellow Pennzoil truck of Benson right in the middle of your screen. Got it squared away, though.
Well, it wasn't a tire. For a moment there, it looked like the right rear might have went flat, but he's back under race conditions here and going quite well again.
Joe Ruttman got past him to move Jack Roush's truck up into 7th place. That unsponsored number 8, Joe Ruttman.
We'll know in just a second whether Joe Ruttman moved him or not.
Oh, here comes Benson. Is he looking for 3 wide? No, he's looking to play bumper tag just a little bit. Now here's Ruttman trying to come to the front.
Now watch Benson come up under and make it through.
Hello.
Oh, a little contact there. I think he might have touched him when he was trying to make that pass.
turned the favor. So Johnny Benson moves back up into 7th place. Now Jeff Bodine, QBC 07, has come up into that battle. And there's Dave Resendiz in the 7. Johnny Benson had a bit of a wild ride, and evidently thought he might have had a little help, and now he's got to pass Joe Ruttman again. It's Mike Grover lifts his truck on the pit road. Everything okay with Benson? Let's show you what happens here. About 3 laps to go. Johnny Benson going for a bit of a slide. May perhaps have had a bit of help. 59 laps to go. And Joe Ruttman's going to come right back at him.
Racers go at it all day long, and that was just kind of maybe you touch me, I touch you back. Now they're back to racing again, and that's all for that.
Closing up on Bill Sedgwick, brought out the first caution of the day. Benson's crew looking on. And they're going to put 2 skins on it when they get the 3/4 mark caution. Ron Hornaday battling with the 98, Butch Miller.
Well, Butch is still trying to get that inside line on Hornaday, but Hornaday keeps taking it away from him. Butch Miller's fighting as hard as he can, though. He'd love to get ahead of the 16 truck before they make a stop, because they may dial that boy in, and I tell you, Hornaday's not somebody you want in front of you when you go back to the game.
Nope, right behind them comes Jeff Burton. The 5th place truck in the 99. Then it's Benson, Ruttman, Breffner, Bodine, and Rusty Wallace back to 10th. 11th is Mike Bliss, 12th Dave Resendiz, 13th Kenny Schrader, 14th Mike Skinner, 15th is Rich Bickle, 16th is Rick Pirelli, and 17th Scott Lagasse. 1 lap down, Bobby Gill and Charlie Cragen. 2 laps back, John Nemechek and Harry Gant.
Don't adjust your flat. There's nothing wrong with it. That's the visibility that these guys have out there right now. Very, very foggy looking around the racetrack.
55 laps to go. And we'll expect that competition yellow to top off fuel and the option of 2 tires between lap 150, and it could come as late as lap 170.
I don't know. The Jimmy Hensley truck is running so well right now. What would you change on it? They're talking about he's having a problem. He's having a problem. If they fix it, he's long gone.
I think you're right. Jack Sprague looking for his 2nd victory of 1996. Mike Skeeter is the only driver to win more than 1 race. Hornaday now has Butch Miller all over him going for turn 2. Very, very close there. Back in 3rd spot. 1st and 2nd in close company. Here's 1st and 2nd behind them. The battle rages on, and here it is. Butch Miller was underneath Hornaday in turn 2 this last lap, buddy.
Look at Jeff Burton making a move on Miller as they start down towards turn 1. He didn't quite do it, but one thing that Burton can do, he can cut lower on the racetrack than any truck out there.
Yes.
So I would expect maybe going into turn 4 down there, he might make a move on Miller.
3rd, 4th, and 5th.
But he's not going to make it. I hate to ever predict what a driver's going to do, because they don't know themselves till they get there.
Now here's Miller right back up on the bumper of Hornaday again. Now this is where he got under him that time 4 laps ago. Not quite there.
Oh,
Where is he?
Hornaday got
Whoa.
very loose.
Did he cut a tire? Or did he
Oh,
just
no,
get out
he
of the
just
groove?
got in there too hard, got the truck sideways. He's back to speed now, but he lost 2 positions in that one wiggle.
Doesn't take much of a mistake to lose a lot of ground. Look at how far back he is from the 2 trucks he was leading just a lap ago. Yellow is out. 150 laps and caution has come out. This is the competition yellow coming out with 50 laps to go. fog continues, the cloud cover, to get lower. It's now difficult to see the turn 2 grandstand. Jack Sprague will lead them on to pit road the next time around. Jimmy Hensley in second. In third, now Butch Miller in fourth. Jeff Burton in fifth, Ron Hornaday. Sixth is Johnny Benson. Seventh is Joe Ruttman. Eighth is Jeff Bodine. Rusty Wallace has passed Brian Reffner for ninth. Ron Hornaday will show you again what happened to Hornaday. Buddy, look.
Whoa,
Wow.
that rear got loose on him. I'll tell you, that took a lot of driving skills to get that truck back. As it started towards the wall there, most people would have overcorrected and went back into the wall with the front.
Nice save by Hornaday. He sits in 5th place as we go to the pits after this. Welcome back to Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Mike Joy with Buddy Baker and Glenn Jarrett. And following this competition yellow to top off fuel and add 2 tires, the trucks have been halted on the pit road and the drivers climbing out.
Mike, I think it started raining pretty hard out there right now, and these guys have done a great job not directing trucks right now. And I think there's the red flag, so
we'll go down to Glenn to get the story.
Well, Mike, Buddy's exactly right. They're under red flag conditions right now. The rain has started. The mist has gotten much mistier, I guess, because I'm getting real wet out here. It's very hard to see out there right now. They get NASCAR saying they want to work on the track for just a little bit, try to assess the conditions in a few moments, but red flag conditions right now, they cannot do anything to the trucks right now. We'll try to get a word with some of the drivers, see how badly it was.
Well, Glenn, from here to look across at the backstretch, you can hardly read the billboards from here in the front straightaway. There's a good look at it. You see how low the cloud cover is. There are 2 big cement plants behind turns 2 and 3 there. The Portland Cement Industry was founded here in the Lehigh Valley. And those are big, monstrous columns, and you can't find them, can't see them at all.
well, I'm sure Hornaday right now feels that that might be the reason he lost the back of that truck over there. As the pavement was getting wet, you could see a little displeasure when he was talking to NASCAR just a second ago.
Jack Sprague there being interviewed by Bill Armour for radio. The umbrellas come out once again, and some of the fans head for cover. They're a hardy bunch, and they have really, my hat's off to them. They've hung with it today, hoping to see some great racing, and they have. I'll show you once again what cost Ron Hornaday 3rd place here.
See him going down in the corner. He loses the back right there now. That was great driving. He made 3 or 4 passes there. He could have done anything wrong, and around he would have went right into the wall.
See the wipers on fast there on the pace car. A bit of rain coming down and a heavy mist. Now the fans leaving the grandstand and looking for cover.
Yeah, and the trucks that are riding around the track right now on the drying procedures are running their wipers also.
Well, it puts a damper on what has been a very damp day, but some great racing while the green flag was out here for much of these 152 laps that have been completed. The trucks, most of them being covered up along pit road here, so we may have a lengthy delay. Let's check with Glenn. He is with race leader Jack Sprague.
Well, Jack, for the second half of this, things look like you guys made exactly the right adjustments. The truck looked awfully good, but it's getting kind of damp out there.
I'll tell you what, Dennis Conner and the whole Quaker State team, I don't know what they did. I didn't ask. I didn't want to know because I was bad loose in and bad tight off. But they made some adjustments, and the thing's still a little bit loose going in, but it seems like it's running pretty quick. But, you know, I wasn't in favor of this thing going from the start. Once we got started, it was really pretty good, but now it's wet. You can't see for the fog in the dark down the backstretch. I think everybody's had enough.
Could it be safe for me to say, to go on record as saying you'd like to see this thing called right now?
Even if I was 5th, I'd like to see it called. I mean, the guys behind me feel the same way. It's just too slippery out there right now. But, you know, I'd like to thank Hendrick Motorsports. If we win this thing, we win this thing. If we don't, we don't. But Papa Joe Hendricks, Rick, Jimmy, my wife, my mom, maybe we'll be done.
Jack, you've been awfully consistent, run awfully competitively everywhere you've gone this year. You've only missed it a couple of times. You got to be one happy race driver.
I'll tell you what, this team is awesome. I'm not a good race car driver. I'm not any better than the next guy. Anybody can drive the equipment I'm driving. I mean, these guys are excellent.
Well, you heard it from Jack Sprague, but I got to disagree with him. He's a pretty doggone good race driver. Mike?
Well, he sits in the lead right now, but you can see it's a tentative happiness about it, wondering if this race will get restarted, if the fog and the cloud seeding will lift, if the rain will stop. We'll find out. First, let's go to Glenn with Jimmy Hensley, the man who led much of this race, but now sits in second.
Well, Jimmy, you set the pace early on and got away from you right there to restart in the second part of the race. Looks like the track was just a little slick. You didn't like it.
No, you know, Jack, it's not fair if somebody got to try to lap these trucks and people's not running that outside groove, and you get out there just like you're getting on an ice rink. So, you know, it's probably best we stop and see if we can dry this thing off where we can have some good racing out there, because people are going to get hurt or something if they keep running.
Jimmy, where are the biggest trouble spots on the racetrack right now?
Any of the outside part of the racetrack, like getting in turn 2, when you come out of that little short chute here, you know, if you jump up on the outside of somebody, you just don't have any traction. The truck just kind of goes away from him and gets all over the track. So it's probably turn 5, kind of same deal, and just probably better we kind of stop and see what we can do about it.
Jimmy, we reported you had a little bit of a fuel problem, a little bit of mist developed on the truck now. How's that right now? Looks like the truck was running okay at the end there.
Well, I'm having to come out of the throttle and the backside because the motor is fading in and out, and I'm just backing out of the accelerator some to try to keep it from doing it real bad. And, you know, we're hanging on pretty good right now. You know, everybody thought we kind of had a fluke deal yesterday qualifying. I think we showed everybody today that the Mopar Dodge was pretty strong. So, you know, hope we can get going, and if it don't, you know, we'll wind up second. So we had a good day.
Absolutely good day for Jimmy Hensley. A pole and a second place finish. Not a bad way to spend a wet weekend in Pennsylvania.
Well, you're right, Glenn, but let's not call it a finish just yet. NASCAR and the Speedway hopeful of getting this race restarted. Some of the fans not too sure. Some of them headed out, and some have just headed for cover and turn the heater on in the car and get a little warmth. At 152 laps, Jack Sprague's Chevy is the leader. Jimmy Hensley's Dodge in second. Butch Miller's Ford in third. Jeff Burton's Ford in fourth. Ron Hornaday's Chevrolet has slipped to fifth. Sixth is Johnny Benson. Seventh, Joe Ruttman. Eighth, Jeff Bodine. Ninth, Rusty Wallace. And 10th, rookie Brian Reffner. We'll be back to Nazareth, Pennsylvania in the fog and the rain after this. Last year in the first 9 races, Jack Sprague had only 1 top 5 finish. This year in the first 9 races, he has 7 top 5s and 2 wins. Glenn Jarrett's at Victory Lane.
And that second win came in a rain-shortened version here at Nazareth, Pennsylvania, but man, what a win nevertheless. That truck was great in the second half.
I'll tell you what, Dennis Conner and the whole Hendrick Motorsports team, Quaker State Chevrolet, they made a heck of a call at halftime because we weren't that good the first half, but they tuned on her, and after halftime the thing took off pretty good, you know. I really would have liked to seen it go the rest of the way. NASCAR made a great call. We started the race. I really wasn't in favor of it, but they made a great call again, and, you know, it was good. We ran there till 1:52 or so, and it just got so dark and wet that, you know, they made a great call, and it's over, and we got us another one.
Well, Jack, by virtue of your finish, Mike Skinner's finish, and Ron Hornaday's finish today, there's now a 2-way tie for the points lead. You and Hornaday knotted at the top.
Well, that's great. You know, they're both great competitors, and, you know, it's early. We're tied for the point lead. That's good. We got our second win. You know, I got to thank Hendrick Motorsports, Papa Joe, Rick, Jimmy, everybody involved in this deal. But most of all, I'd like to say we're thinking about them and our prayers with the Harkey family. Jeff Harkey works on our team there, and his aunt died last week, and he wasn't able to go to the funeral because he was here gassing the truck. But our thoughts and prayers are with him, and hope his uncle's doing good.
We echo those thoughts and sentiments and congratulate Jack Sprague, Dennis Conner, the whole Quaker State crew on another great victory here today at Nazareth.
Thanks, Glenn. Jack Sprague wins the DeVilbiss Superfinish 200. Jimmy Hensley finishes second in the Dodge. Butch Miller third in the Ford. Chevy, Dodge, Ford in the top 3. Jeff Burton is fourth. Ron Hornaday slips to fifth. Johnny Benson sixth. Joe Ruttman seventh. Jeff Bodine eighth. Rusty Wallace in his Craftsman truck debut finishes ninth. And Brian Reffner, again the highest finishing rookie, in 10th. Mike Bliss was 11th. Dave Resendiz 12th. Kenny Schrader 13th. Mike Skinner 14th. Rich Bickle in 15th. Rick Corelli and Scott Lagasse finished on the lead lap. Bobby Gill and Charlie Cragen were 1 lap down. John Nemechek and Harry Gant were 2 laps back. Doug George and Michael Dawkin 3 laps down. David Smith on a lap by himself, 4 behind. Ken Allen 25th. He was 5 laps down, along with Bob Breback and Mike Colabucci. Bill Sedgwick was 15 laps behind, and the DNFs were Lance Norrick, Joe Gaeta, TJ Clark, Walker Evans, Mike Hurlbert, Bob Keselowski, and Perry Tripp, who did not start the race due to ignition trouble. Well, there's a tie at the top of the point standings. Jack Sprague and the fellow who's with Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Ron, we're just talking about now, by virtue of the finishes today, you and Jack are tied atop the standing points league. Not the best day you wanted. It just about got away from you right there at the end.
It did. We just needed to call it 2 laps earlier, but I couldn't believe it. We made a change on the track bar by 1/4 of an inch, and how bad it drastically got loose on us. So it could have been a mismatched set of tires or something, but we had a great truck, and got to thank Doug Williams and then all the Busch guys. You know, they really jumped in and helped us this week. It's a brand new truck coming here, and my guys did an awesome job. We didn't change nothing all weekend long, and here we go, the halfway point, and we changed the stupid track bar. We shouldn't have done it.
Well, as I said, you're tied atop the points standings lead. You were there all year last year. You've got a little bit of an experience edge over Jack in that department. Will it come into play?
Oh, I hope so. You know, Jack's running awful good this year, but you know, we're just going to take this Napa Chevrolet and do what we can do, and you know, we're ready for Milwaukee. It's the same truck we ran here, so we're set to go. It's just we're going to try to put our dots, to cross our T's and dot our I's, and make sure we're set for next week. But I'm really proud. Another top 5, and I'm going to quit saying top 5. So I'm going to go start going for wins now for this championship. But we keep saying top 5 is going to win this championship. Look at the big picture, and we did. You know, Butch Miller thought he got into me, and he didn't get into me. It was just I got into the water, getting in the corner, got me sideways. I tried to straighten it back up, and I lost it again. So listen, luckily we got a truck in one piece.
Nothing I like better than an honest racer, Mike.
Oh, me too, Glenn. For the 6th time this season, Ron Hornaday leads the track atop the Craftsman Truck Series standings, sharing the point lead with Jack Sprague. Mike Skinner is just 25 points behind. Dave Resendi's 233 points back, and Joe Ruttman right up Resendi's tailpipe to complete the top 5. Buddy, a long day here at Nazareth, but we saw some great racing for the Craftsman Series debut here at this track.
Great racing, and congratulations to Glenn Jarrett for getting all these interviews together. He did a great job in the pits as usual. Fun working with you, Mike. I want to tell everybody out there, if you want to have some fun, take a kid and go to a good truck race. It's a lot of fun.
You're not kidding. For Glenn Jarrett and Buddy Baker, Mike Joy congratulating Jack Sprague on his 2nd victory of the season, the winner in the DeVilbiss Superfinish 200 at Nazareth Speedway. So long, everybody.